Pushpa 2, The Rule, because icon star Allu Arjun's highly anticipated film is all set for a grand release, a theatrical grand release on the 5th of December across multiple languages. And the latest buzz is about the film's runtime, which has reportedly raised eyebrows. If reports are accurate, Pushpa 2 clocks in at massive 3 hours and 21 minutes, making it one of the longest Indian films to date. And the movie, which has been in production for nearly 3 years, is already among the most awaited releases of 2024. With its epic runtime and a massive fan base eagerly awaiting the sequel, Pushpa 2, The Rule, is expected to create waves at the box office.
पुष्पा को फ्लावर समझे क्या? फ्लावर नहीं, अब वाइल्ड फायर हम है। मेरा हिंदी तो थोड़ा गलत है, माफ कर देना मेरे भाई। थोड़ा गलती हुई तो माफ कर देना। करेगा ना आप? चलेगा ना? थैंक यू।
And now for more insights into the film and what fans can expect, let's cut across to my colleague Krishna Kumar. Krishna, first and foremost, the film is expected to cross about 1,000 crore rupees. We're looking at pre-sales, record massive runtime. What do you want to talk about first and foremost? I know when he spoke in Tamil at that launch event in Chennai, the crowd did lose it.
Actually, you just saw him speaking in Hindi at the first massive launch event in Patna in Bihar. Imagine a film like Pushpa, a Telugu film like Pushpa, beginning its promotional streak with a massive launch event in Patna in Bihar. That's the kind of impact that Pushpa 1 had across the Hindi belt. Bear in mind, Pushpa 1 made over 100 crore rupees net in collections in Hindi, a certified Hindi hit, a pan-India hit, and now it's back as Pushpa 2, the Rule. One was called Pushpa 1, The Rise, and this Pushpa 2 is called The Rule. It has reportedly been made at a massive budget of around 400 to 500 crore rupees. Some reports say that icon star Allu Arjun himself had asked for around 300 crore rupees for Pushpa 2. That's the kind of mind-boggling numbers that has gone into Pushpa, even before talking about the box office numbers. Talking about the box office numbers, well, it has had a massive pre-sales booking across the US. Over $1.4 million worth of tickets already sold, with more than a week left for the release of Pushpa, which is hitting movie screens on the 5th of December. And yes, that 1,000 crore rupee number that you're talking about, that is the holy grail, so to speak, of all pan-India films. That's the standards that have been set because of the likes of Bahubali, RRR, KGF being the only misnomer over here, because all the other films we're talking about are all Telugu films, including Pushpa. So there is something that the Telugu film industry is getting very right when it comes to making that pan-India film, that 1,000 crore rupee film. Pushpa 1, incidentally, was not exactly a 1,000 crore rupee film. It made around 400 to 500 crore rupees, but yet it was a big deal when it was, for a Telugu film to make that kind of numbers as well. It had great traction in terms of social media as well. A lot of people connecting with it, a lot of people watching Pushpa on OTT platforms after the buzz it generated at the movie theaters. So now the target for Pushpa 2 is probably what Bahubali 2 did, 1,000 crore rupees plus, and for that it will have to make 500 crore rupees at least in the Hindi market alone. Roughly 400 to 500 crore rupees, and assuming the rest comes from the south of India, Pushpa 2 is aiming for the 1,000 crore rupee plus mark, and of course a lot of it will be helped by the ticket sales in overseas markets, especially the US, where there's a strong Telugu movie fan base that is there, Kabir.
You're absolutely right. All right. So we've got the expectations and the pre-sales out of the way. We know that song Kisik is out. Sri Leela's, dancing on it. So mixed reactions on the internet. Of course, that hasn't affected the advanced pre-sales. But how did you like that song?
Well, let's not get all subjective over here. But you're absolutely right when you're saying the fact that the social media is quite divided about Kisik, the song Kisik, the so-called quote-unquote item number, if I may. But that's only because of the standards that have been set. Oo Antava, the song, the iconic cult hit from Pushpa Part 1 was such a massive...
Still rages on today.
Still rages on. In fact, to the point where social media users are actually posting reels of, the Oo Antava and Kisik together, and clearly calling out Kisik for, falling short, well short of the standards set by Oo Antava. you'll have to really wait and watch how Kisik plays out in the theaters. But for now, the results are quite mixed. But then, fact of the matter is that since the release of the song on social media, the YouTube views have gone through the roof. So there's still a lot of interest. Now you can't really say, Kisik is just a bad song and nobody's going to be excited about Pushpa. People are constantly comparing, and that comparison will happen. And imagine if that's for one song. Imagine what's going to happen when the movie releases. They're going to put Pushpa 2 against Pushpa 1 and go how much fun people had watching Pushpa 1 and whether Pushpa 2 comes close to it or not. That runtime of 3 hours and 21 minutes is a big risk that they are taking, because it's very difficult to sustain audience interest, post 3 hours. This is 3 hours, 21 minutes.
They were saying something about 3 hours and 15 minutes, 3 hours and, 21 minutes. What do you have to say about that? It is going to be a little difficult to capture the audience. I mean, we're all on our social media, so we've got a span and attention of a goldfish.
Attention deficiency syndrome that affects all of us. You're right. The other practical issue is that, say, for example, when the movie hits movie screens, in the first weekend, when shows can start in the morning onwards, theatre owners would like shorter films to have as many shows as possible in the first few days, at least in the first extended weekend during which the film is going to release, because it's going to release on a Thursday. It's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So theatre owners and distributors would prefer that a movie has as many shows, not just the average 3 shows or 4 shows that your movie halls have, to have as many shows as possible. When you have a 3 hour 21-minute movie, the problem is that audiences are going to spend anywhere between 3.5 to 4 hours at the movie theatre watching it, including the interval time. So that doesn't give theatre owners that much, theatre chains that much time to have as many multiple screenings as they would have liked. So there's a practical issue with a longer film, but here is hoping that it packs a punch when it comes to the story, screenplay, and the dialogues and the editing, that people don't mind sitting through 3:21 and coming 3 hours 21 minutes and coming back for a repeat viewing as well, Kabir.
You're absolutely right, and I think the icon star has the wherewithal to pack that kind of punch. Krishna, a little bit of a controversy surrounding the music director as well, delays and whatnot. Could you help the viewers on that front?
Okay, good that you asked that, because that's the issue that's raging on about Pushpa 2 as we speak. The music director is Devi Sri Prasad, who's done movies across Tamil and Telugu industries, and then of course became nationally famous with Pushpa. He won the national award for Pushpa 1, and now he is in the middle of a controversy because reportedly the producers, the Maitri movie makers who backed Pushpa 2, have replaced him for composing the background music or the background score of the film with 3 other music directors. Those 3 music directors' names have also been doing the rounds on social media. It includes Taman, it includes Ajesh Loknath and Sam CS as well. These 3 music directors have supposedly been roped in to do the background score for the film. Devishri Prasad's songs remain, so he's provided all the songs. So Kisik is composed by Devishri Prasad, and a couple of other songs that have been released, the Pushpa song and Suseki, and all these songs, they have been composed by Devishri Prasad. It all came to a head when in that visuals that we're running, that is a Chennai launch event of the Tamil version of Pushpa, where Devishri Prasad, the music director, on stage went on and spoke about how telling the producers of the movie that I know you love me, but love means no complaints, but you seem to have more complaints against me. So in a sense, he was washing dirty linen in public, talking about the differences, the rift between him and the makers of the movie, albeit him and icon star Allu Arjun continue to remain great friends. Allu Arjun, in fact, thanking him profusely when he took the stage at the same launch event in Chennai. And Devishri Prasad also talking about his love and friendship with Allu Arjun. So all is well, I guess, between Allu Arjun and Devishri Prasad, but not all that well between the makers of Pushpa 2 and Devishri Prasad. And that's the reason why we are getting to understand that the background music of the movie has not been composed by Devishri Prasad. We'll still have to wait for an official confirmation on that front, Kabir.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the numbers as well. Pushpa 1 crossed the 100 crore mark in the Hindi cinema belt. You're talking about the movie at least crossing the 500 crore figure if it wants to cross the the coveted 1,000 crore mark. Is that going to be possible? I mean, of course, we'll have a better idea once we arrive on the 5th of December and we have a couple of screenings that do take place. But do you think that's going to be able to happen?
Well, anything can happen. Who thought that Pushpa was going to do the kind of business it did? A lot of people, in fact, were like, oh my God, this is such a masala film, why is this becoming a big hit? And there was no stopping Pushpa. There was no stopping Pushpa even after it went out of the movie theaters, and the kind of impact and the kind of curiosity that it generated. So, look, let's in this sense, keep a Kannada movie as the standard. See what happened with KGF 2. KGF 1 made around 300 to 400 crore rupees, was watched by the Hindi movie audience on OTT platforms, and then by the time KGF 2 arrived in the movie theaters, there was a massive pre-booking. In the first weekend to the next, first 2-3 weekends, KGF 2 was marauding over straight to Hindi Bollywood films. And there was no stopping KGF 2. KGF 2 was a juggernaut that really dominated movie screens for several weekends, not just the first couple of weekends, but for the next 3-4 weekends. It was KGF 2, and it ended up making in excess of 1,200 crore rupees. That was KGF 2, the advantage of being a sequel with the curiosity being built up by the first part. Pushpa has enough and more of that advantage because Pushpa was a massive success at the movie theaters. Enough and more curiosity. It's been building up for 3 years now. Look at it. Pushpa 1 released 3 years ago. I mean, and this is a project, as Allu Arjun has recently tweeted. In fact, they were shooting. The last shot of Pushpa 2 was on the 26th of November when Allu Arjun tweeted saying this is the last shot. He's been with the movie for 5 years. So it's a massive project in that sense. In terms of time, it has consumed. And, this movie was supposed to release on the 15th of August, then got postponed. In fact, that postponement cost the movie makers 35 crore rupees reportedly. So in that sense, there's been a lot that's been happening with Pushpa, and the wait has been only extended and further extended. So, if it's pent-up demand for Pushpa, so if that pent-up demand results in more tickets being sold, then there is every chance that Pushpa 2 could cross the 1,000 crore rupee mark. And if the hopes and aspirations of Allu Arjun fans are to be counted, it will end up being the biggest blockbuster in Indian cinema. But we'll know on the 5th of December when Pushpa 2 hits the movie screens.
I understand that the main quotation is not bowing down in front of anybody, but for the first day, first show, Krishna, will you joko for it?
Well, I am going to wait to see, what are the initial reports that have come out. Because let's face it, this movie is going to release, before India time in other markets as well. There will be, preview shows. I'm guessing. I'm hoping for more information on the film. The trailer was interesting, I have to admit. And yes, like many others, I'm also a little underwhelmed by Kissing. But I know the magic of the big screen. When a movie, sort of arrives on the big screen and you're in that movie hall, lights off, and you're watching it, how well everything falls into place is something you'll only know when the movie releases. So yes, I am extremely curious, and if the pre-release buzz continues to sustain the momentum it has right now and continues to go up further and further, and better reports about the movie come in, then there is no doubt that I'll be catching Pushpa 2 on day 1.